Happy Friday, and welcome to the Sentinels Workshop dev stream. I am John, aka Migrant P, and lead developer at Handelabra, and we're going to be continuing to program Sentinels Steam Workshop support. So we're going to kick off today with some bug fixes. Got a new file from the Cauldron to look at about this bug with defensive blast, so we'll look at that. Other things on the go, David's looking at improvement for villain variants. One thing I realized looking at this was that right now you can't really make a variant of a lot of villains without automatically including a lot of their basic behavior, like start of game stuff. And we deal with that in the engine by just being like, is this regular Baron Blade or not? Like, for example, let's pull up Baron Blade. Turntaker controller. If it's regular Baron Blade, it does this. If it's Mad Bomber, or presumably anything else, it doesn't. So Baron Blade happens to work fine because it just does nothing. But if you had your own start of game logic for that variant, you wouldn't actually be able to do any. You couldn't make your own Turntaker controller. Citizen Dawn, like, she doesn't have a variant, so this just always happens. And so we're making a way so you can create your own subclass of Turntaker controller as well as the character card controller. And that will use that instead. So that should make it so that villain variants can be properly done. I guess a lot of people weren't doing villain variants, so it hasn't really, no one actually asked for this, but it's important to be able to say, and be able to have villain variants. So David's looking at that. Jean-Marc's working on code documentation, and we got some more visual stuff going on as well. So I'm going to look at a couple of these bugs and things. And another thing I wanted to mention with the update and an update in the past, we had compatibility problems with the changes in the engine that we didn't realize would be a problem. And so one of the things that we're introducing is a way to notify you as mod authors about changes to the API. So the kind of changes are mentioned here, and this card, whenever we post an update with important changes, I'll comment on that so you can subscribe to it. And this spreadsheet will have the details. So I just added in, this is the change that happened last, was we added a new parameter to a method that did cause a breaking change, and this is when it came out. So whenever we make changes to the engine that need to be mentioned for compatibility reasons, we're going to note it here. And potentially non-breaking ones, I added a column here for whether it's breaking or not. So keep an eye on that. Hey, Take Walker, something's happening. Yeah. Also, probably as we, get to launch, one thing I want to do most likely is we'll have like a release strategy where if there's a breaking change for mods, or even if there isn't, maybe there could be and we don't know about it, right? That can happen. We'll do like a pre-release branch for mod authors to test their mods out and make sure that things are good before we ship to the public. So that's not an issue right now because we just can directly talk about it in the Discord. But, once everything's public and there's mod authors, hundreds of mod authors and thousands of people using mods, we want it to be a little more stable. I know I'm curious how many people are in the community group now that it's opened up. 158. So yeah, welcome. Hey, congrats, Take Walker. You are on your way to full immunity. Getting your second shot. I haven't gotten a shot yet, but should be sometime in May for my age group here in Nova Scotia, most likely. Cool. Okay, so yeah, let's look at this bug. The Cauldron folks sent me a save file, and I was able to reproduce the bug, which is this null reference coming in this method. So they did some really good investigative work, but I wanted to be able to reproduce it and make sure it's fixed and everything, right? So, so let's take a look in the engine. It does require, this bug only occurs with mod content because there are no Sentinels cards that work that way. Being a non-hero target, that can't be visible to a hero target. But we can see what happens, or we can fix it and make sure the unit tests work, and we can make sure that the behavior works before we finish it. So this is the method: select targets and deal multiple instances. And yeah, so I believe in that they talked about it was happening where it calls find cards where. In the code here, they did a disassembly to find that. Here, I believe, is where it would be. I guess it's funny, the exception. I guess the exception is happening because targets is null. Does find cards where it can return null? I don't think so. It always returns something, but I'm just curious, like, where is the exception happening? That can be hard to do, hard to find. I don't know if they mentioned here where the exception, if they see where the exception happens. Find cards where it finds the invisible ghosts, and it fails to check that the damage dealt succeeded. Which would be down here. Yeah, unfortunately we can't get a line number from this. We can like throw in logs. I don't know if they mention exactly where because they have their code running it, so they can run it in the testing framework. I think putting the card source in there makes sense. That's the fix suggested, and we can make sure it doesn't cause issues with other code. That's the main thing that the Cauldron folks wouldn't have access to. So where'd that call go? Find cards where, it's up here, right? Here. Yeah, and it makes sense that we need to be, I guess it's here too, right? And we can just get a card source right away. And use it a few times. I guess, I don't know, does this need to be called multiple times? Does it, I guess things could change in the middle, so maybe, I don't know that anything could change in the middle, but I guess we'll call it again. So yeah, here where it should pass this, I think, too. Yeah, I'm wondering if the battle zone thing might be a problem, but we'll see. Another call here. Let's just see if there's another call to this method. There's one here. I think this should also pass the ignore battle zone parameter too. Probably just never was a problem, so it never was passed. All right, let's try running the tests on this. Okay, we'll run those. And we'll see while that's running what's next. Yeah, this is an issue in the UI, so we can take a look at that. There's flipped side of small art for a villain subdeck not showing properly. With a branch of the Cauldron mod, and I think this is WRhyme is changing this villain to use the subdeck instead of what they're using already. So we can, maybe we'll grab this and build it. Cool. It's a big download. I guess because it has the art. I guess I could have just asked for a DLL. That's okay. But there's, I think, a test case in the code here, so. Or just, okay, start a game. Yeah, I guess getting a DLL would have been enough. That's all right. I can build it. It'll just take a little while to download here, that's all. How's our unit tests going? We have a couple errors. That's probably a flaky test. Craft services table. One thing I would like that if you could like select multiple tests and rerun them, but you can't do that. You just have to like remember which ones, because then as soon as you rerun one, everything else, this all goes away. Guess I can open the tree and then find them. Double click them. All right, so just 3 failures, but most likely those are flaky tests that need to be fixed. Yeah, that one passed, and oh yeah, now I lost the other ones. The other one was craft services table. And that passed. I guess it's marked as inconclusive in the list, is it? This class has way too many tests in it. Let's just run it again, the whole thing. 400 tests in one file. That's not something we do better now. Oh yeah, WRIME29. Sure, if you want to send a DLL on that card. I guess you can't see how the download's going. I mean, I'm just downloading it, so it's probably just as fine. And this is a different one. Let's build for Unity. So the test didn't break anything, so that's good. And let's just see if it fixes the problem in the game. Yeah, I should have downloaded that ahead of time. I didn't realize it was so big. That's all. All right, defensive blast. Deal some damage. And we still get a null reference. The DLL did update, right? Sometimes. Check that. Looks so. Wouldn't enemy fasten downlink from GitHub? Sure. Yeah, so. That's alright. I guess actually, is this? I should have just cloned it because now if I download it, I can't switch between branches. Maybe I'll clone it instead. Because then I could switch to this and see what's going on better. I want to find out where it's crashing. So the quickest way is just to like throw in some logs. So let's go continue game. All right, and we need mods, but right, going from there, that's the problem. So we'll still go from the main menu because then we can click continue game and it has the mods loaded. Where are we crashing here? Select targets and deal multiple instances of damage. So it's happening after all the damage occurred. Or like in here, I guess. I think in here is where it was suggested that the fix should happen. Yeah. So. Damaging target. Start do that. This is going to help us find where it's crashing. And we can throw one in at the end of the loop. Just in case. And maybe we'll throw another one in. Here. All right, let's try that and see what happens. All right, that finished downloading too. All right, continue game. Very handy to have this file, so. All right, so as soon as I pick a target, am I getting my logs? No. Why am I not seeing any of those logs? Maybe I have them turned off when I'm continuing the game like that. Let me just check the log.txt. Would it be in here? Oh yeah, it's in here. All right, let's just have a terminal with that. That makes it actually a little easier anyways because it's a separate file. Damaging target 2, right, and it's like there is no target there. So it's still finding that target. Despite passing the card source. So let's see. So it's crashing here, but before we get to like talking about the follow-ups and stuff. So let's see if we can look at what's happening here. And filtered targets. I assume this. It's going to help us just narrow down what's going on. And okay, let's try this and see where we get. not the ideal way to debug, but it gets the job done quick enough. Quick, like just as quick probably as trying to make a unit test out of mod DLL and stuff. So. All right, this is happening. Right, so the initial targets is interesting. Okay, so we go into we keep going. So at the start, our initial targets were Baron Blade and the mobile defense platform. Interesting. So there's something else. Like the target list is those two cards. So why are we getting to... We actually do... We have filter targets none, and we call select targets and deal damage to nothing, which we shouldn't ever do that. So why is our, I guess, our loop here is going too far. I guess it's while we should continue dealing multiple instances of damage. It's this check is coming back and saying, yes, you should continue dealing multiple instances of damage. So this check is not using a card source. Okay. Console log debugging, yeah. I mean, it's tried and true. Especially and in Unity, like even in the Unity's own code, not even considering trying to debug into another DLL, it's a pain in the butt. I find, like, because like you might be looking to try to hit your breakpoint like after like 50 calls and putting a conditional on it that makes sense and all. That's like, it just, and like sometimes it just doesn't work, and having to like coordinate between pressing debug in one program and pressing play in the other. It's like, yeah, 2 buttons, but like it gets messy and it doesn't work great. It's kind of the downside of having a runtime like that, but we manage in other ways. And sometimes I do regular debugging in Unity, like in more modern Unity. It doesn't work at all here in Sentinels, but we get there. All right, so let us use that power. And see what happens. Cool, loop is done. So yeah, so now it's like, no, we shouldn't continue to deal damage. There's no more targets. That is good. Yeah, and I think it's doing all this logic because, like, when you deal damage, anything can happen, so maybe new targets appear, right? So we can't just, like, look at these targets and assume we're done if we deal all the damage to the targets, because Sentinels is wild like that. All right, let's just run our unit tests again, because we made a change. And now we can go and unzip this. Well, we did unzip it. We can build it. Let's make a new instance. Okay, I allow it. Build. Error. Oh yeah, because the references won't match what's on my computer. How about that? That. Am I on the wrong? Oh yeah. I think I'm on the wrong branch here. Because it's like get custom decision text. I don't think the beta has that. Guess I'll make it mods because I know that's what this version is going off of. I need to quit Unity because Steam thinks it's running the game. Oh crap, pressing run things. Yeah, I know Unity Hub, you want to exist. We're doing two things at once, that's why we're having trouble here. Alright, that's updating. Tests are still running. No big wall of red here, so that's nice. Gotta love test defer taxes. Yeah, let's try building this now that we updated those DLLs. One error. Yeah, that's okay. I think, unless it's warning as error, but I don't think so. Where's the output? Cauldron mods bin debug. Here. Cauldron mods.dll. So I think we have Cauldron folder here that we can, is this like, let's just overwrite that with this. Come on, why am I, things not doing what I want? Overwrite this, and then I think there's new art. It was Mistress of Fate. No? Yes? The Mistress of Fate. The Mistress of Fate Day. Don't know which one, so I'll grab both. And I assume there's a separate deck back image or something like that. Unit tests finished running and no failures. Alright, so I think we should be happy about that change. Just finish this up then. So we're doing that. I'm going to just get rid of my debug logs here that are not going to be helpful anymore. Let's comment them out for future. But we don't want them to be noisy. so that is passing card source. That is passing card source. And that is passing card source. And down here in the other method, which was actually, I think, the real problem, is passing card source. Make sure to pass card source to fix crash related to hidden targets. All right, and that doesn't have any compatibility issues, so I don't need to update the spreadsheet. It's just a bug fix. Okay, so that is there. And I'll just note here on the issue, this will be fixed in the next update. All right. Cool. So that is finally taken care of. Thanks for letting us know about that. And then there's this one. This is a UI issue, so we can close out of the engine. I guess in the UI we're going to commit this DLL update, and there's also an XML update for documentation. Cool. So yeah, when we want to basically start a game with the Mistress of Fate. Okay, so we should be able to do that. I think actually if we just press play, it's going to load the cauldron from the local version over the Steam version anyways. So, oh, we closed Sentinels because of Steam. And this version of Unity likes to play audio and not remember that you clicked mute audio. All right, let's go new game. And Mistress of Fate. Those are heroes. MMM. This? Yeah. And don't really care about anything else. Hey, looks like there's a 3D environment here from the cauldron. You making 3D environments? That's cool. Start game. Right, so these are the cards that should have a separate deck back. All right, so something happens here, but we can look at the... Oh, right, I don't have the full art. Well, we can resume the game. Let's grab the full art. Just overwrite the old one in here. I got Tucker. Yeah, I just hit random, so get some other different things. I guess this question is at the start of the game. Is it? No, I guess it's start of turn. Yes, we have Tucker Division Cheer from Case Files. I like holiday themed stuff. That's fun. Oh yeah. Oh, this is not from Cauldron. This is from Spooky Ghostwriter. So a 3D environment, looking cool. I saw there was an update to Spooky Ghostwriter, so that's cool. All right. So yeah, we get the full card art here, and if we flip it over, all right. So we see. Oh, I see. That's the other deck. The other thing is. Right, each sub-deck has its own atlas, right? That's how it works in the regular game, isn't it? So Mistress of Fate Day Atlas. I guess this is just has everything in both, just probably for testing. Actually, I don't know if it's loading from there or if it's loading from wherever, but that's the different deck back, right? So, okay. Yeah, the Kargra and stuff has a different file for her subdeck atlas. I believe the title deck has its own atlas. I'm not totally sure. So yeah, so the issue is, let's just continue the game to a point where we can actually not have everything happen. I don't know that other subdeck cards ever go face down in Sentinels. So it might be just that was never a thing, so I don't know, yes or no. Wow, 20 damage. Ouch. Okay. Also 20 damage. All right, that seems rough. I took 20 damage for something. Okay, so now when I continue, I should be able to see these. So when I bring up the full card, it's looking for Day of Sorrows back. Or interesting. It's saying that there's a placeholder, but then it doesn't use the placeholder. Or is it? Also sneaky, you can look in the log and see what your cards are. You don't lose when everyone dies, so damage is a lot higher. I see. Okay, so I'll have to see what's going on in here. So at least we can try to make it work right and maybe see if we see what's going on entirely. So let's, I think we don't need this anymore. Now that we've got it built, we want to open Sentinels UI project. And yeah, UI card view factory and everything is what we're looking at. So, if it's a small card and it's flipped, we generally use the flipped prefab, which shows the deck back. And I guess it's not going to be in here. It's going to be, well, it might be in the place where it uses finds the image. full-size regular card. Okay. It's probably in this update image for card view. This is if we're using a sprite. Get the sprite name. Yeah, I think it's that we literally never show the back of a subdeck card small, right? Like, there's objective and mission cards, but those are different. They're double-sided. So we're going into here and saying this is the sprite name. So I think we are going into that, and let's just log this out and see what we have here. I should just be able to hit continue game and we don't have to go through the villain turn again. All right, sprite name, the Mistress of Fate deck back. But what we want is that to be the Mistress of Fate, or whatever the subdeck identifier is, probably. It's not anything, like, literally, that's not a thing, I believe. In, like, the title deck, there is no small card deck back. I guess Aeon Men does have a small, because the deck back is shown like that for Oblivion and stuff. So is it? I guess there's title deck. Yeah, title deck is totally weird. It's like got a special card and everything like that. But for Aeon Men, it does show the deck back. But it's not. They're not shown like separately as cards. So. So what we can check to see, I think, we would have like card.owner parent deck. Yeah, so this back, what's happening here is if it's like objective cards or mission cards, our card backs are identifier back. Deck backs are turntaker identifier back. Deck back. Subdeck backs should be subdeck identifier. Deck back? Back? What is it in Oblivion? Do I have Oblivion checked out? Probably. That's one where we can look. Just be consistent with that. Well, source images, small, villains, and men deck. And men deck back. This is the identifier of the subdeck and men deck. So it's subdeck identifier deck back. So I think parent deck here works instead of owner. Probably. And that's actually probably better because you don't want like to flip over if the owner of a card, I mean, the owner of a card shouldn't change like that, but it could. You want it to still show like the physical back of what it would have. So we add deck, and then we always add back. So let's see that, and we can check some other scenarios like Santa guys and make sure that we didn't break the world doing this. All right, so there is the special thing. All right, and these characters probably don't flip cards over, or maybe they do. Santa? No. So let's get Santa guys into a game and make sure that works, because that's the main rest. I guess Wager Master as well. Wager Master versus Santa guys. Wager Master, Santa guys, and the rest can be random. Angry taxpayer. Sure. What's his error? Oh yeah, that I need to fix that sometime. Not critical. Hopefully we don't lose immediately or win immediately. I'll keep picking keywords. I don't care what you're doing, Wager Master. I just want to get face down cards. Who invented the holographic Power Ranger? Yeah. Or who invited, sorry. All right, this is going to flip a card face down, so we'll actually get to see that worked. Shows Wager Master. And I assume guys is going to work then too. But let's make sure we get Christmas. Gift miss. Yay, it's guys. Even works for placeholders. It doesn't show the text on the full card sometimes. I'm not sure why that is, but it's not a huge deal. All right, so I think that change seems okay, and I think that covers what's going on here. And we can comment at that log. You're welcome, W-Rhyme. Show the correct sprite for face down subdeck cards. All right, that is done. All right, I want to do this thing. So this is part of the sort of related to the API changes and incompatibility thing. I want to at least be recording the version and build number that a mod is uploaded with, so that in the future, like, I'm not necessarily going to implement anything around it right now, but we can then like have something that shows like this mod was, you know, created with a previous version and might be not compatible or whatever. So as long as we have that information posted to Steam, we can do something with it, and that's pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna put that in. That should be pretty quick, and then like I don't need to do anything for a while. As people like upload their mods and update them, then that will get populated as we go along. And then if it becomes an issue, we can put something in. But adding the information is pretty easy. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. Still don't have my BRB. Maybe I can add, I'm just gonna add a BRB thing in OBS. Add color source. We'll call it BRB. Oh wow, it went real big. It's just gonna be like, okay, that's not so big. And let's add a text. Let's give it a nice font. Red state, blue state, gotta love it. And make it a color. And put it there. Cool. And that will go inside the other. Can I put it inside the other thing? Inside. Oh, I need to make a folder. Group. The name is in use. New stream, John plays with OBS. New group, BRB. Then this color can go inside and the text can go inside. And then I can just hide and show it all together. Fun. All right, I will be right back. Right. Suppose I could even like make the BRB go over the camera part or something like that, but that's a later thing because now I'm back and I can actually program. I don't know why I was in text edit. Oh, to make a BRB. And then I didn't. Okay. All right, so yeah, let's add these things to the workshop thing. And so we want to go to mod uploader, and yeah, basically when we're editing item, we want to add key value tags for namespace, uploaded with version, and uploaded with build, or maybe like game version and game build. That's probably a little better. Okay, so these keys, I'm just gonna have constants for them just because that's a good practice. They're not actually in the manifest, but they're game build key. All right, game version, and we have version, current bundle version, dot version. Make sure I get the right game version. This is a little generated class. Yeah, version code is the build number. So game build key, just in case. And version code. And that this is a string always, right? Game build. These probably should never return false, but who knows, right? Let's go and upload our thing and make sure that that shows up right in the back end. And then we have it. It can help with, we can see these properties on the back end too, so we can upload our workshop test A. Sure, update everything. And we have game version and game build. Cool. All right, so that's a pretty simple little thing that doesn't really affect anything right now, but can be helpful if someone is like, my mod isn't working, and we can look, you need to update it. At least we can do that in the back end right now. And this commit is just going to be what this card title is. And maybe we'll do more with it at some point. Okay. All right, so, man, we're starting to run out of stuff to do. I guess if there's anything as a mod author you're finding that is blocking you, let me know, and it's something we can work on. Maybe I'll take a bit of time. Well, one thing I want to do is make sure that variants for the Sentinels and Skyscraper work. I know, does Rujuin, do I have Rujuin mod installed? I know Rujuin has a variant for every character. You know, once I get past the writing phase. I don't know that Rujuin has mods for the... do I have Rujuin's installed? No. But I can install it. I haven't heard anyone complaining that they don't work, but I don't know if anyone's tried them. Dark Mind. Just finished a villain deck. Cool. Oh, it's Lazy Fan Comics. Maybe I am subscribed to that. I guess I didn't recognize the name. 1 to 2 variants for each official hero. So let's see if their Skyscraper and Sentinels work. If so, maybe everything's fine. I just haven't like tried it myself. So Skyscraper. So there either isn't a variant for Skyscraper or it doesn't show up. And the Sentinels, the same. So I'm guessing either it didn't work or they didn't want to make one. Yeah, no Sentinels or Skyscraper. It's possible that it doesn't work. So why don't we create variants for them in our sample mod? That can be part of the sample project. Let's start with the Sentinels. I need to talk to Jeremy about updating the font. Jeremy is the font master for Sentinels. That was a request from Ridgewan, I believe. So let's go to our little mod project. We were also working on making things more reasonable. So let's make a variant for the Sentinels. So I need to... What do I need to do? I need to make a definition. So promo card list. We have a few. What will be possible to use a Sentinels variant that turns them into a single character? I think that's called Void Guard. So the Sentinels. So with the Sentinels, let me open a new instance of Visual Studio. If we open up the engine, and we go to the Sentinels deck list. Sentinels. Are we in? No, we didn't open the right project. We got the engine project. The Sentinels. Nope. Start. Let me type. Sentinels deck list JSON. So the variants have an instruction card and 4 character cards. So let's just grab those and what are our Sentinels variants going to be called? Brainstorm for me. Give me some suggestions. What are these new Sentinels? The grown-up Sentinels, the baby Sentinels, right? They're already babies, now they're even more babies. Like Rugrats version of the Sentinels. That's kind of funny. They're gonna be the baby Sentinels. Baby Sentinels. That seems weird. Shouldn't it be like Sentinels babies? Isn't there like... I feel weird about this. I'm not into this. I'm gonna go back and choose something else. Let's do Animalverse Sentinels. I like Animalverse. I actually want to do like Animalverse. Sentinels babies, they make your dreams come true. Ponies, the pony Sentinels. Someone's gonna do a ponies variant set, right? What's the Sentinel lizards, right? That's an animal, right? Want any beers? Of course. What is a sentinel bird? Killdeer. Okay. There's definitely a sentinel lizard, right? That's a... Isn't that a... No, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Animals named sentinel. Oh, I am thinking about monitor lizard. You're right. I mean, that's basically a synonym, right? Dr. Monitor Lizard. Sentinel species is like a canary in the coal mine kind of thing. Right. But then I want something named Sentinel. Well, let's go with Monitor Lizard, right? We can go the Animal Sentinels. That seems fine. You can choose a new color. Color palette ideas. There's websites that give you color palettes. Go away. No, oh my God, stop. This looks good. All right. So their main color scheme can be this. And the end caps can be the same. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about opening lines. Dr. Metacobra. The ideal lizard. I love it. Oh, yeah, they're all snakes. All right, we can work on the name. This Snakenels. The Snakenels? The Serpentinels. Yeah, the Serpentinels. All right. So we have... oh, and I need to change this. This was, yeah, the Serpentinels. Instructions. Maybe I'll just make the whole sample mod the Animalverse mod. I probably won't. I'll probably just copy this into something else later. So the promo identifier is going to be, he's going to be called, right, Dr. Metacobra. And usually make the identifier try to match a little. I'm not going to change their behavior just yet. I'm just going to go right to left here. So Dr. Metacobra gets this red color. Main snake. Let's see what some other snake names. I feel like there might be a better Medusa. Snake species names. List of snakes by common name. Wow, there's a lot. Look at the M's. Mamushi. Um, right. Let me just, I'm trying to think of other things. Writhe. The Wriggler. Check S or T. Tentacled snake. Tiger snake. They're all called snake. I guess that's just how it is. Boa. Main boa. Ooh, Sidewinder. I like Sidewinder. Writhewinder. Side writhe. Der. The ideal lizard are snakes lizards? I guess they are. I don't know. Technically. Main garter. Dr. Metacobra is pretty great. Anaconda. Some good names. Cottonmouth. We'll just pick something here. Writhe instead of, it could be rattle. That's true. Because writhe is like a verb, right? So, all right, Dr. Metacobra has the same ability. We can check that the promo is working. I guess we should just like write something in here so we can tell more easily that something is working. Cobra style. We'll just call him Main Snake because I can't think of anything better. Snake style. Give him his color. Makaste. That could work too. Not yet. Doesn't work as well. Are snakes lizards? The answer is they are not. Maybe. They're limbless reptiles. But they are cousins of snakes. Lizards are cousins of snakes. But I mean, ideal lizard could hang out with Mamba. That is a superhero villain name already. Boomslang, yeah. Viper. Viper's great. Main snake's okay. Main snake. The idealist is going to be the ideal lizard. It's fine. The ideal lizard. There might be some other ideas that people have posted about. And I guess we can give them different hit points too. Let's give them all one more hit point. They're buff. Actually, I think there's UI code that cares about max HP like that. And writhe was going to be rattle or wriggle, or something that's like a verb. I like rattle with a W. It's kind of funny. And we'll just say snake style in here, and we'll give them, oh, do we get idealist? Didn't get idealist her color. Idealist gets this purple. And writhe gets this blue. And cool. So that's all the variants we need to like make classes for them, which I'm just gonna totally crib from the real ones. We need to make a folder here called the Sentinels. Oh, and we need to, yeah, this is promo card list, so it's already there. We need to make card controllers. So Sentinels instructions has a card controller and so on. I guess, yeah, we named these after the variant identifier. Oh, and this, yeah, I was like, this needs to have a new name. It does have a new name. It just looks almost exactly the same. And this one needs to be like this. Yeah, we probably need to like have some documentation for how do you make a promo for the Sentinels. They're weird. Add new class. This card controller. Let's just make the classes and then we'll go through them all. Add new class for Dr. Metacobra. Main snake. The ideal lizard. Nothing, no one says we can't have fun with it, right? Card controller. We did have like a way to have a template file for card controllers before, but then it stopped working and we never looked into it again. So I think it's possible, whoops, like to go to have a new class and have it like show up here as a template with like the right stuff. And we had it once and it worked for a while and then it stopped working and we were like, well, we're done making cards. So if someone makes one of those, you could share it. That could be handy. Oh, and this also is the wrong name because I'm dumb. Rename. Gotta include card controller. All right. And let's grab basically, what do we need? We need these things at the top for all of them. Just gonna go like this. Yeah, a template would be nice, wouldn't it? And then we need to make them hero character card controllers, these ones. Guess I can copy the colon too. And we need to update the constructor. Is it unhappy? Oh, that one's unhappy. Yeah, because I didn't put the subclass on that one. And I think there's a class for the adamant instructions that's literally just like I'm a subclass of that. And I think ours is going to be too. And we can say add this to the using. The instructions controller doesn't need to be different. It just needs to be there. And then maybe you don't necessarily have to have a different instructions card, but it can look different and be cool. So, all right, everything else here is compiling, so that's cool. So in theory, everything now should work. We could actually just like override the real Sentinels character card controller. Oh yeah, these actually need to be Sentinel hero card controllers. So they're, because they have special behavior when this for the Sentinels. So this, and probably needs the right namespace. Yeah. Yeah, so these are things I'm thinking about, like we need to document these things. Oh. Okay. And I copied and pasted the wrong thing. All right. So let's just change the numbers on their powers or something. So Dr. Medico does this. Let's make our Dr. Medicobra do something slightly different. Regains 4 hit points. All right, that's the adamant, isn't it? No, that's the power. Oh, because I copied the adamant one. Well, I mean, we could just copy the adamant power instead. We'll make it overpowered. Yeah, let's just copy the adamant one. This should be less work for me. You get 2 hit points. You may draw a card. And then Mainstay is going to do deals 1 target 3 melee damage. The Idealist is going to do 2 psychic damage. And Writhe will say the next time a hero target is destroyed. How about that? It would be cool if you could move it to the owner's hand. To the owner player's hand. That's different and neat. Alright, so Adamant next. Adamant Mainstay. Copy that. To main snake. Okay. And Adamant Idealist. I feel like there's helpers for these now that we don't need to have our own response, but maybe there's a reason why this is like this. Maybe because it's in select targets and deal damage and not a single target. Like there's a stun bolt helper, right? I think. Anyways, that's fine. And then writhe is going to be a little different, but I think it should be okay. Yeah, we don't actually run obfuscation anymore, but we never did. We were looking at doing it because of people decompiling to find out variants and ruin the fun for everyone else. But friendly word to those people stopped that, and we didn't have to actually go through with obfuscation, which is a huge, huge pain in the butt, and would never have worked. Next time a hero target is destroyed, you may move it to the owner player's hand. The owner's hand. The owner's hand. That's a little different. Move it to, move it to. To its owner's hand. So that doesn't work with the Madame Mittermeier's, so it would just go to the trash in that case, I guess. Is hero is true. His target is true. Blah, blah, blah. And then it's a reflection status effect, so it's using this. And selection type.move card to hand. And if they answered yes, set the destination. I guess we can also check to see if actually that's not that card changes the word villain to hero, right? So it doesn't actually affect this card. Native deck. So I guess we would go to owner. Yeah, so our native deck. We gotta find the hand. Native deck dot owner turntaker to hero dot hand. And then we have a bunch of, I mean, this doesn't matter, the two bottom. Decision sources and the card source. Cool. Should be okay, I don't know. Stretch. Alright, so we made our variants. Now we should test them and see if they work. So our test code is not well organized. Let's test the Sentinels variant. And to make a promo with the Sentinels, you have to specify them all. So you don't get to do this way. So let's just check out the unit test adamant. So yeah, this test is like, this is how we add the promos. So basically this. Baron Blade and the Sentinels. Right. We have to make our turntaker identifiers like that. And then our promos come in as the second parameter. And let's add our instructions card too, because it didn't do that. And maybe we'll make our instructions card say something else cool. I don't know, whatever. We don't have to. Just get our identifiers. Main snake. Oh, I totally put them in wrong. They're not in the right order in this code. Ideal lizard and main snake. And this wants advanced first. All right, and so we can check to see Sentinels. You can't actually ask for the character card. Find card. Get card. Let's just run this like this. Make sure everything starts and we don't have an exception or anything. Error. Card definition not found. Okay. So when we're creating variants for the Sentinels, we make them based on the character cards instead of on the turntaker, which is normally what you do. And this is what the normal setup is doing, is the same as what we're doing. Unless there's some bonus checks in here. Yeah. So something is not loading right, so I'm going to think on that and be right back. I can put up the little BRB thing. Be right back. And I move it like this. There, so you don't even know if I'm here or not. I will be right back though. And of course I just realized it's because I didn't put the namespace. That would do it. Workshopping dot. Oh. Let's try that. Hey, success. All right, let's, and then we can maybe check some other things. Medico, get card, Dr. Medico character. Dr. Medicobra character should be the promo identifier. The hit points should be 15. And we'll go to the Sentinels thing. Let's just run that and make sure we got Medico right. Use the power on mainstay for 3 damage, right? Yeah. Target. Select target equals MDP. And use power mainstay. Which HP storage? That card. Make sure our thing works. It works. Did 3 damage and applied the status effect, which we didn't put a test for, but I'm feel happy about that. That our variant is working now. So now we want to see if it works in the game. So let's grab our DLL. David's got it working with Cosmic Omnitron. David is just mentioning an issue. Let me just look at the set up on our test here. I just want to... All right, where are we now? See you later, Take Walker. We want to test out our DLL in the UI now because it's working fine in our unit test. I want to go to my mod. Well, let's go to the UI folder here. Mods. This is not AAA. We'll call it sample mod. I don't know what we'll call it. We do definitely have to update the manifest to mention our new variants. The Sentinels have the instructions card and Dr. Metacobra. Snake and the Ideal Lizard and Rattle. And we need to grab our DLL, which is not in this folder, but in... I guess I should probably move this to the Handelabra folder. Bin debug this. All right, so back in the game. Let's see if it loads. Looks like it does. And what creates the test game, it doesn't really know that the Sentinels could have multiple variants in one game, but that's okay. It ran all the tests okay, and let's take a look in here. There's our variants. Yeah, again, it doesn't really know that they shouldn't show up here. We could maybe make some change around that. The same thing, I think, if we go into variants, they're going to show up individually here. Which, I mean, it's fine. Maybe you just want to make a single variant called, like for Dr. Medico and not for other things, right? And that has the text that we like. Main Snake, Ideal Lizard, and the Sentinels are really hard to read. That's a bad card color. And Rattle. Let's see if we can play it. So the Sentinels, if I click variants, I get the Adamant Sentinels. If I click variants, I get the Sentinels. Now it doesn't know that those other characters go with their Sentinels. So I need to go and click and choose the individual variant, but it actually isn't going to it. It's like looping through. Interesting. It's not letting me choose. I mean, it's clicking through, I think, every other variant, but still keeping it at adamant. So something is funky there. So there's some UI issues. So the engine engine seems to be happy. The UI does not, and I think we need to have more information because previously the only variant was the adamant sentinel, so we could make some assumptions about what is going on, but we can't do that anymore. We're gonna have to have something that, like, this needs to know about these, for example, in some part of the definition, I think. So yeah, so I'm just gonna update this card to say, we'll add a sample. We need to support choosing variants in the UI. Yeah, and then documentation. So I think the sample is good for what it is right now. So let's commit what we've got, I think. Add sample variants for the Sentinels. Because you could easily just be like, I want to make one variant, right? I just want a variant idealist and not have it be connected to anything else. But there's definitely stuff, and I did go through and like try to identify in this card assumptions about them. And these are partly related to like having other mod decks that have multi-characters, but then there's certainly stuff that's assuming the adamant sentinels. So I wonder if I search for adamant in not the test project, in the current project. Are there any things that reference Fort Adamant? Adamant Sentinels. So those are available. This is part of the adamant. This is more of a, not a huge thing, but it's something we need to figure out. See, I think there's nothing major in the engine here but adamant sentinel. So let's go and open the UI project. And we'll look in whole solution. Yeah, so here. This is custom URL. That's the promo helper. I don't care about that. Game setup view controller. Yeah. Interesting. So I'm just curious what else is going on in the variant handling that we're not being able to handle what's going on there. So let's see if we go back in. I just want to maybe turn off a lot of the other mods. So I'm going to edit. Well, yeah, let's just quit this because Steam thinks it's running anyway. Let's discard these and let's move. I'm just going to ignore this folder too. because nothing's going to go in there, and it's just helpful for me to move stuff out. I just want to have only my sample mod. And it's less to comb through, right? So let's go back into Sentinels here. And I think I can just go and have it start in the setup game now because it's only loading one mod, so we can do that in a frame. Or maybe it won't like it null reference if I do that. Okay, maybe not. Still got to go to the main menu. And yes, audio. So heroes. And I can just like turn off other decks. So we get them right off the bat on the screen. So if I click variants, oh, nothing happens the first time. Oh, I think it didn't register it. So that worked. Oh, interesting. It's going through them like that. So how does it know about adamant? How does it know? What's your secret? Game setup card view is the one that handles that button. And we then call on variant changed. Can change on click, single click, variant clicked, show next variant. Right, so we're being populated with the variants when we get configured. Where does this get populated? Here. Available variants for deck. Does this know about adamant sentinels? Maybe it's through that. What does this do? It just literally pulls up all of them like that. And then they are all just listed. But we don't do that for I think we returned false? No. What is this call? Yeah, that's in the box stuff. How are we deciding to not show the main sentinels there? That's what I want to know. because it was a long time ago that I did that. We got an error. Oh, right, that was just in the thing. It's just because of the cricket's not there, and it was like, what? I think. Or no, it's actually error because we can't continue the game. So let's go new game, and let's look for promos for the Sentinels. Should be here. So it's only coming back with Adam and Sentinels instructions. And then all the ones, because that works that way. Yeah, I'm just wondering if... How does it know? It's gotta be... We call this available variants per deck. And that's calling this. And deck definition has a list of promo card definitions. Okay, so if we go into the engine, whoops, clicked wrong. Being asked to select beers. I actually want a different solution than the one I already have open. So write this. Deck definition. Promo card definitions. If it contains promo cards. Which is all of these. Okay. How does it know? Does this do something about it? When do we filter it down? Because we check to see. Actually, available variants shows all of them, whether they're locked or unlocked. If it's not mod content, we... Oh, I see. Here we're filtering by available promos, which is a static list. And so this is what decides that we only show the instructions. It's going to be somewhere. Here, Adam and Sentinels instructions, and we don't show Medico, or we don't show the individual ones. So it's just because we sort of coincidentally did it like that, that it's working that way. So we need a way to know what's going on. like, we need a way to know that there's an association and that these other ones are not part of that, or part of the main card. Interesting. I'm thinking of different ways to handle it, but there's going to be different areas that we do things, and so they kind of prefer that we do things different ways. I think the manifest being as it is fine, but I think the UI needs to know that, like, a Dr. Medico variant can't be the main variant, right? And yeah, how does it knows somehow that we swap all of them if it's the Sentinels, right? That's this. If it's the Sentinels, then and we change the instructions card, we do this. So that's why it's changed. It was changing them all to adamant, is because of this logic here, I think. And then again, this probably just shouldn't be, if it's the Sentinels, it needs to be like, if it's a multi-character card, blah, blah, blah. Potentially like a more nuanced way to deal with this is necessary, but complicated. Because we have Skyscraper as well, who you can't mix and match her variants, but she still has several variant cards. And that's a whole other thing. Skyscraper's deck list does list them all. And she has off to the side cards, and then the game just knows that the main promo is the normal one, and the other ones are here in the list, but it knows to not show them in the same way. Because of the same thing, that they're not listed in that available thing. Yeah, so maybe the manifest, if the manifest doesn't show them that way, but the instructions card lists them, that might be a way to do it. It's kind of messy, because that's like literally just for the Sentinels, and then other, you could think of like other mods that have multiple character cards that don't work the same way as the Sentinels. We could say that, like, if you have a multi-character card hero, it has to work like the Sentinels by having an instructions card, and then the other cards, like, that's not the end of the world, I think. Because, like, if you don't like it, you can just make, like, a blank one and move it out of play or something at the start. But it's not the end of the world, I think, if it's going to be easier for us if they always work like that, I think. The problem is it's not like the Sentinels are kind of bolted onto the existing system a little bit. All right, so let's go to, I think, promo helper, or where are we going here? The available decks area, available variants for the deck. This needs to only return the variants for the non-real card. I think we can filter that here, right? And so, yeah, so this is where we're adding in variants for existing decks that come from mods. And also, if you made your own multi-character card hero, then this doesn't work the same way, for the same reason. So we would need to update that logic too. But for now, with the Sentinels, we just need to do this. So I think this needs to only return the instructions card here. So get available variants per deck, get qualified promo identifiers per deck. Yeah, and this is just strings. This doesn't know anything. About that. So I'm wondering where we want to filter this. I think here is a good place. Like basically we can filter it here by looking up the definitions, or looking at the definitions and making sure that they're not, if it's a multi-character deck, exclude real cards only, i.e. only show variants of the instructions card. If turntaker is multi-character turntaker, yeah, perfect. Only where it's not a real card. Let's see. This might be too restrictive, but we'll see what we get here. This would also potentially work for like the ENIAD or something, right? All right, so heroes. All right, so actually we can look in our log here. Promos for the Sentinels are Adamant and the Sentinels instructions. Cool. So now when we go through the variants, it won't actually swap to those other things. So that's progress. But we should be able to swap to individual cards. So Medico, Adamant Medico, something. Okay, so it's trying to do something. It's just not getting the right thing. So that's interesting. I think it's going just to the instructions card. And here we have some side logic. Yeah, special variant handling for swapping the Swapping. So show next variant is logging here. And yeah, it's showing adamant again. So the variants being selected for this are not correct. And why not? Where's this variance get populated? Populate variants. If it's the Sentinels. Or if it's not the Sentinels, and or it's the Sentinels instructions. Do this. Okay. Otherwise, the Sentinels have special handling. And we're not looking, it's not finding mod stuff here. But at least we're finding the right one here. So let's see. So, so yeah, here we need to that does give us a card definition. Are we not even using I or this? Guess we're not. We're just using it for account. If it's mod content, we need to look up the mod promo for this. The problem is if a mod has multiple, we need to know which ones go with which, right? And we don't know that at all. And like if there were multiple variants for the Sentinels to begin with, we would need to deal with that. But like there's only one, so we never had to worry about it. We would have had to change this logic for that reason. Look up the, find the one associated with the instructions card. So we need to like add something to indicate that these are the cards that go with this instructions card. Because right now there's no way to tell that. So we need to give it like associated cards or something like that. I know we use the word associated cards for other things, so think of something else. So it's going to be something we need to add into card definition. And it'll be a list of strings. And then we can like look up those based on that. So like we can put it into the Sentinels instructions here. And just use the same logic potentially as well, instead of just having it assume what's going on. Associated, connected, linked, correlated, auxiliary cards, accompanying cards. Accompanying cards? It's not bad. Because it owns them, sort of. You don't have to use it with them, but if you do pick it, then it comes with. Like this kind of thing. I guess we should say promo cards because these are promo identifiers. Accompanying. Well, if we're going to do that, then it's just associated promo identifiers. Because we're not using cards then. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. And toss this at the end of this constructor. And I think this is okay with it being missing. Yeah. All right, and then we can make a getter for it. And we can document it. The promo identifiers of cards that go with this card, e.g. add. For example, this is populated on Adamant Sentinels instructions with the identifiers of the promos, other promos. All right, so we don't care about this anywhere else right now, so I think that's fine. Let's build that, and we can build it. We can still put this in our JSON, and it will run the DLL in Unity. So we won't be able to see the property over in our MyMod, but that's all right. So let's open up MyMod and add our property in here. Made a cobra, main snake. Okay, and we'll build that and then update it. Someone's rolling around upstairs. Okay. Back to Unity. So basically, this logic in the full card panel needs to know about that now, once we compile. Yeah, maybe we'll say this will just find the instructions card. So it's not even if it's mod content, we can just like do this, right? Because this is, yeah, this is on like, this is the main character, and then this is the instructions definition. And so instead of looking in here, we want to look in the instructions definition dot associated promo identifiers. All right, we want to find the identifier first. Right? No, wait. Yeah, we actually need to look up. Yeah, we do need to do differently if it's mod content, right? Because otherwise, we look in the promo card definitions. We're looking for the first one, but just thinking if this is enough information. It has the promo identifiers, but I guess we can, yeah, then look at all of the promo identifiers in the mod. I think, yeah, it is a little different for mod, isn't it? If it's mod content, we have to look at like the list of mod variants, but otherwise we look at something else. This stuff. Mod manager or whatever. Get available variants for a deck. Right, because this only finds the instruction card, but because this filters by that, but the mod one doesn't. We want this. Do we need to include this multiplayer thing? Probably. Just go with that for now. Maybe simplify it. All variants. Okay. Then Right, so we want to find the variant that matches this card and is listed in... Actually, just the one that's listed in the instructions, right? But it's kind of sort of both, so... we want to go to choose all variants dot first or default d dot identifier equals, I guess, qualified identifier, because no, I guess that's not, yeah, let's just go do that identifier for now, because we're just working right about the Sentinels, but this might be more complicated with multi-hero variants from other mods. Card.identifier, and so if it's Dr. Medico and the instructions def dot associated promo identifiers contains d dot promo identifier. I think that should do it. And let's go card definition. Like this, and then we can assign it here. We can write, choose the one that matches this card and belongs to, that matches this character card, belongs to this instructions card, or is associated with. Otherwise, it's literally just like, we can maybe go this foil, this false, and normal built-in decks, easy. And then here, and basically if we've actually found it, which maybe we didn't for reasons, I don't know. We actually make a card instance and we add it and we increment the number. So this should make the full card panel part work. The other part might not work still, assuming I didn't screw everything up. We'll see. Alright, it's a new game. I guess the only way to choose the main variants is from this. So if I do this and now I click variants, oh, come on. Variants, we didn't get it. Did the same thing. It is coming up from this part. Card to show. I think we need to throw another log in here to see what's happening. Yeah, I know guys is special. All right, so I guess it's in the setup part is what we need to see what's happening. All right, show Dr. Medico. Yeah, we have to go back to the code where we were just at, where we're populating the variants, right? We have some logs in here from before. Oh, so actually it's if instructions def is mod content is what we need to check for. So that was just never going in there. That's why I was only finding the Sentinels. All right, Dr. Medicobra. Okay. Is it going to work? The new model has no variant, so it didn't carry that over. If I do it while it's in the game, it might. Model is now has that variant. Let's see if that works to start the game with Medicobra. This image is based on the instructions card. There's here Medicobra. He's in there with them. That's funny. Yeah. All right. That's some progress. All right. So that's interesting. So let's see. I don't think that choosing the main variant will work to change the others yet. Yeah, it made them all adamant. So that is something we need to look at as well. But we're making progress. So that's good. So we don't super need that. So that's in the populate variants. And then when the button is actually clicked is when it tries to update stuff. In game setup card view, yeah, notify variant changed is where it's going to. Actually, that's back in the new game data container, right? This ends up going here and tries to set the variant, set all the individuals to the variant. But now we know we have a new thing that we can use. We can say for each card in card dot associated promo identifiers. Right? I think we need to, yeah. What we need to do is how do we know which one goes with which one from here? And we need to, yeah, we don't have enough information here with just a list. We might need to have a dictionary in there instead. And then we just basically add the dictionary, or yeah. For this spot, we need more information, right? We need to know where did that come from. I guess yeah, because we only have a definition, right? So it doesn't have the other cards. Here. Yeah, so back in here, instead of a list, I think we need a dictionary. Like this. And yeah, I don't know. Because otherwise we need to like look up, find this, and then look up its identifier. I guess that's okay. Let's make a new loop here. Card.associated promo identifiers. This is like raw promo ID. This is mod content. We need to find the card definition for it to get the identifier. If find mod for variant. Yeah. This is a string. We don't care about the mod versions here because we're looking for a specific one. And the deck is card dot parent deck. Yeah. And find the one that matches. And then assign it. Like that. So I guess we put a null check. Someone doesn't implement all of them, I guess. Otherwise, basically pretty similar. So we look it up in the, this is looking it up in the associated one instead of just straight up going through the list of promo cards. I think this should work. And again, this is just the Sentinels, not necessarily handling mods with their own multi-character heroes and then having promos of those from other other places. But it's a start. So we take the Sentinels and we click. We get the adamant because we did make a logic change that could have broken that, but it is showing those. If we click again, we get all of the variants. Let's start the game and see if they're all there. I guess we can look and see if they're here too. Oh, well, we got some exceptions. Maybe we spoke too soon. All right. Let's do it without going to the full card view, let's say. All right, and a couple more heroes and environment. So we get the instructions card uses a placeholder, and hey, look, there's our string. And all the placeholders line up on top of each other, which is fine. Like if you make a multi-character hero, you need to set up the placeholder, set up the artwork in the right way. But they're all here. So that's cool. So what's that null reference? Let's see what we did. Well, one thing we can also check is if we change them here and change them here and then pick it, do we get the variants? Well, if I click another card. Yeah, we're getting them. So if I show Medico by clicking this, I get an error about calling this with a null card. Where are we calling it from? Show next to member. Right, so I think it's probably not getting the right variant. Probably should do a null check here and not. Oh yeah, this needs to be checking qualified identifier, I think. Because this is going to be qualified, right? And maybe let's do a null check. And just don't do anything. Instead of having an exception. Seems probably like a good idea. All right, so let's click this, click this. So that shows regular Dr. Medico instead. What if we select them? Then it works. So there's something else different going on there, but now we can go through. If we change this back to regular, that works. Change this to Sentinels, that works. What if we make this a Sentinels and then super mix and match? you just have rattle and the instructions card. Let's see if that works properly. Yeah, these errors where it's doing trying to do something on null. It's like, come on, what are you doing? It's trying to unload the Atlas, I think, when it's not supposed to. Oh yeah, there's our mix, our motley crew of mixed snake and non-snake versions of heroes. So we had an issue with toggling group members before we've actually selected the hero. So let's take a look at that as a hopefully last thing. I'm going to take a quick break first, and we'll be right back. Let's put up the BRB. I will be right back. I have returned. Alright, so the last thing, at least that seems to be necessary. I guess there's also like the multiverse and stuff like that. Let's make sure the Sentinels still work in the multiverse. Why don't we? There they are. Choose variants. That's fine. Okay. Was choosing, like if we go here and click this, or if we click adamant, and that also is broken now. I mean, that might have already been broken, but it shouldn't be. It should recognize that it should be showing the other thing. So that logic is not here, but show next member. How do we decide that we're using the variant? But if we're not actually, this might have never worked right. Let's see. I'm gonna quit this and see what happens. Because if this is how it's happening in the game right now, I'm not gonna necessarily fix it. It's a separate bug that is not a huge deal. If I go new game and go heroes, change, well, if we look at where the Sentinels go. Here. There. Okay, and if we go variants. Yeah, so that's an outstanding bug that I'm not going to worry about then. It's not a huge bug, but it's a small bug. Cool. So I think actually that makes everything work pretty well. You can choose your variant and play them, and it works. There might be more things to do, but that's at least a start. Like multiplayer, but I think that should make variants of the Sentinels work. I think some of these things are still happening. But we have a sample. We're choosing the variants in the UI. So let's wrap up and get some documentation. I guess I can commit my code and stuff. So in the engine, we're going to say we add associated program identifiers to current definition to help support mod variants of the Sentinels and future stuff and future multi-character card variants. Okay. And we have a commit from David around overriding turntaker controller. Revealed in character. So we might actually conflict here if we put stuff in the same spot, which we probably did. So actually I'm going to stash first and pull that and apply my stash. So did that have a... Nope, looks like there's some changes made here by, I think, Jean-Marc has been moving some things to private. That shouldn't be done, shouldn't be being called by anything necessarily. I don't know why. I'll have to ask him about some of these, because maybe not. David asks, the engine documentation needs to be updated. Okay, we need to go to this. So I'm going to be documenting one thing and David's going to be documenting a different thing, but I'm first going to just take a look at what he did here. Didn't he change? Oh, right, this is a test. The original change is here with card definition, adding a new string. the factory is going to be finding that. Cool. Alright, so let's apply my stash and probably have a conflict. Yeah. So let's just fix that conflict. Should be pretty easy. It's funny. It's like split up that in a weird way. I guess because it had some couple lines that were the same. Okay, that should do it. Let's just go and make sure that it's happy though. Let's go to our engine. Cool. All right, that looks good, and we can commit our change. Guess we lost our documentation or our commit message. To help with mod support for the Sentinels. Other multi-character card decks. All right. That is done. And we will make our commits to, I believe, the sample has a change. And we'll push those up. And then in the UI, we are updating the DLL. And we are, yeah, we can discard the change here because it's just a log turning on. Cool. So, support, selecting mod variants of the Sentinels in the new game screen. I guess I didn't check to see if the modiverse shows up. Let's take a look there. Audio. Right, so it does include all of these listed here still, which I think is okay. We could change that potentially. And under variants, it also does show them individually as well, which I think is fine. If it becomes a problem, we can adjust it, but I think that's okay. Cool. So that is that. Push up our UI changes. Excuse me. And update the documentation as well. So I guess we're going to be updating this. Well, we won't update it. I won't post the documentation update until that stuff is shipped. But we're going to go to deck list specification and character card properties. It's kind of not, it's a character card technically, but not really. Actually, I don't know that it actually, does it say character true? I guess it does say character true. So it is a character card, but it's a weird one. And yeah, we'll add it in. Insert row below. And the new field is associated promo identifiers. And that's an array of string, which is awkwardly just like reduce the amount of spacing in this. Variants of multi-character card decks like the Sentinels must populate this field to indicate the other promo identifiers. I guess the must have an instructions card that populates this field that go along with it. Okay. And I don't know if there's is there like a section about making variants? Promo card list? Yeah, there is a little, it's like briefly mentioned here. Control card variants of external decks. Yeah. We can add a little bit in here. if you are creating a variant of an existing villain, you will probably need to also make a yeah, maybe, I don't know if it's here. I think it's probably here for where we're talking about variants. Villain, a turntaker controller subclass. Specify this class by using the whatever the thing was that David made. Can I go back? In your character card definition. If you are creating variants of the Sentinels, you must have a variant instructions card and a variant for each hero character card. The definition of the instructions card must include the thing that I just field with the identifier, promo identifiers of the other cards. I don't know if it's must, but like this part is must, but I don't know if you do have to have, let's just say you should have. I don't know if you create like just a variant mainstay and put it in, like what's going to happen. I don't know that it will work. It might work. It's not going to probably be technically supported necessarily. But you can try it if you want, but I'm not going to look at that right now because I think the main use case is probably creating full variant sets of the team. I'll just message David. Yeah, so this update will be posted with the next update that actually includes that stuff. So that is also done. Cool, so new variant stuff. Yeah, so what else do we got today? We have Skyscraper is probably a whole other thing that we want to do, but that might wait till next week. Maybe we can do a little bit more of improvements on the sample project today. We did add a whole new variant, so that's cool. And we now actually have support for implementing villain variant properly, so that is nice. Maybe we can do that. So let's see. Where did we leave off last time here? I think we made, this is the wrong project anyway. Let's close that. Let's close that. Let's open my mod. We're just trying to make this a reasonable-ish mod with cards that make sense and stuff like that. The Sentinels seem fine. We could always make the powers more unique, but they do work and they do have some difference to what the main Sentinels do, or the adamant Sentinels, that is. I guess we implemented Migrant Coder a little bit more. I think that, let's look at my commit list. What happened a whole week ago? Update Migrant Coder, clean up the villain a bit. Yeah, this is the baddies. And we added a new card to the baddies. Is the baddies done enough? Like, I mean, it's not done enough in terms of being playable. We actually, we have a variant for our own villain. We can implement that way. The baddies has 2 cards, and I think we implemented them. Smash backfield and fire everything. To everything that isn't a villain target, because why would he hit himself? He could have a minion, I guess. Want to make a minion? We could make a minion. What's a good minion that we could borrow from? Let's borrow one from the game. Sentinels engine. I know what we can make. Let's make a minion based on Gloomweaver, Cursed Acolyte, and the identifier is going to be called Right Way. Like that. And let's say there's 4 of them. And so there's less of these horrifying one-shots. 10 hit points. Keywords. Let's call it minion. At the end of the villain turn, each villain target regains HP. I think that's the right action, the right icon. This can be there's a right way and there's a wrong way. Hi. Give them the same issue number. All right, so let's make a card controller for this. Gotta have a target in your villain deck. You don't have to, but it seems generally good. We'll set the namespaces. It is a card controller. It has a constructor. is going to add triggers. Something like Citizen Spring. Each villain target. Regains H. Cool. That should be it. I don't know that I even need to test it. It's pretty simple. I don't know. Did we make a test for the baddies anyway? I don't think so. We just like, I guess this test is gonna fail sometimes. It's not always going to be that card. Cool. So that's a new card for the baddies, and let's just commit that while it's here. And we got this, the real baddies. That's the variant. So the real, I guess, yeah, what we want to do is make sure that the turntaker controller so it's the turntaker controller for this. We don't want it to be happening. So let's, does this test actually still work with the smashback field coming into play? Probably. Test mod works is failing. Let's look at the test layout here. Null reference exception. What? Oh, did I like screw up the JSON file maybe? Yeah, I sure did. Missed a comma. It happens. So maybe with the real baddies, they should start with a different card in play. So maybe our test will be assert is in play. Smash back field. Test the real baddies. All right, we can just verify that the variant is loading right. The real baddies, the 400 seems excessive, right? Let's go with 50 and 20. I don't know. Assert is not in play. And assert is in play, right way. We'll start with one of the pivot in play. So we should fail on this. Yeah. And actually, interesting. Why? Smash backfield is not going into play. Something is not working here. We're not getting the turntaker controller running, or we're failing to call start game, I think. That's probably why. Yeah, and then real baddies. Smash backfield should not be in play because we need to make a turntaker controller for it. So let's make a new class called the real baddies turntaker controller. And I'm just going to borrow this code and change it. This is kind of a hard card to type. Yeah, so we're just playing a different card. But the game doesn't know, I mean, right now, I haven't told the game that it should be loading that. And so what I need to do is, according to the new documentation, that is not out yet, override turntaker controller on this. And it should be like this. So this isn't going to work right now because the DLL that we're testing with doesn't have that. But we can build it and send it to the game, and then the game DLL knows about it because we're just linking against the wrong one here. The one that's on Steam. I'm gonna send this over and run it in Unity, and we should see the right thing happen the right way. So let's try it. Sentinel's already open. Oh, okay. So let's go into a game. New game. Villains. Let's do the regular baddies. And we should see the smash backfield. There it is. He plays a card, inspire everything, and right, tries to destroy an ongoing card. You can like check that things work too by punching him. No hero ongoing cards in play. Let's do this. Let's not play fire everything. Unleash energy. Smash backfield reacts. Nice. Alright, that seems to be fine. So let's go and play against the variant. The real baddies. The ones we made along the way. Now 50 hit points instead of 400 or whatever. And we play that card instead. And it's based on H. Cool. All right, that seems pretty good. So let's commit this, and we still can do some more on that, but I just want to commit that we're add turntaker controller to the villain variant. Cool. And to give him some effect, like at the end of the villain turn, do some damage or something like that. Maybe at the start of the villain turn, just to mix it up. Let's grab a villain that deals damage in their turn, like Baron Blade's flip side. The baddies, let's say at the start of the villain turn. H, toxic damage. And our icons should say, we don't have icons. Start of turn actions, deal damage, toxic. And no advanced icons. We could do something on the flip side. I guess we need the text about, like, we don't have to do the thing about being flipped or whatever, but let's do that. I guess this goes usually last. To the what? All right, so the real baddies needs that flip code and other triggers and stuff. So the baddies, basically, let's just get all the same code. Could do totally different stuff, but I don't necessarily want that as the wrong return type. Oh, right, because we need to include that. So at the start of the villain turn, trigger type dot damage. Okay, let's just grab the text. We don't want that open anymore or that open anymore. We're doing this. And we don't have an advanced. This was just 20 hit points. Deal damage to highest HP. Helper. Character card. 1 is hero. Amount is H. Toxic. I want the other version. Does it... Can I not have a... version that isn't dynamic? I thought there's a non-dynamic version. Is there not? Is it gone? Seems weird. That seems weird. Like Baron Blade character card. Is there literally only the function version now? I guess so. Maybe they're always... I feel like that wasn't always the case, but I thought there was a fixed value version. I mean, all of these are just returning a number. Anyways, seems weird. But okay. All right, so we have a basic effect for our villain here. I think our first one doesn't have a flip side either, right? The flipped doesn't do anything. I guess we want the text about being flipped. And no icons on the flip side. And Nemesis identifiers should be microcoder, not legacy. All right, so there is some implementation of the real baddies. We can go to end of turn. And just, I'm not going to put test stuff in, I guess. I think we're wrapping up here. We can at least look at the, well, the output's going to fail because there's no villain turntaker controller logic working, but I'm just going to comment these out and make sure end of turn trigger fires. Yeah, deals migrant coder 1 toxic damage, so H is 1, and it gets increased by Nemesis. Great. All right, so that seems cool. Let's just commit that, which is basically, yeah, add some effects to villain variant. Cool. So I'm going to push these up even though that test is going to fail. It's fine. So yeah, so that's some more improvements to the sample. Maybe I'll just like put a checklist on here with what's left. Environment needs probably to have like a couple more cards. Environment cards. I think we want to have turntaker controller for Baron Blade variant. There's the bunker variant, needs to be improved, probably. Team villain variant. We're going to want a skyscraper variant, but that can go in the other card. And I guess there's a noisy cricket one, I think already destroys itself. That's the power. Maybe like cricket variant. make it do something that isn't silly. And I guess any other, well, as part of this stuff, I want to like, you know, make them do things and include effects that are representative of like things you might want to do. And other examples. And so, yeah, and I guess we want to have some sample resources. So like, probably some images, mainly text. Nothing big, but a few things. So it can be at least something that you can like subscribe to on Steam and it's not awful, and you can look at it as like a better example for different things. So that is that. Cool. So I think that's probably going to do it for today. We got through some bug fixes and supporting variants for the Sentinels. That's pretty good. Let's move Skyscraper up to next week, and this numerals to card font, I'll talk to Jeremy about doing that. So here we want to create a sample. We want to support in engine/UI and documentation, I think, right? That was, yeah, support choosing the variants in the UI. So there might be some more weirdness around that. But yeah, you can see the list for this MVP is getting pretty short. The documentation is going to be like an ongoing thing, really. And we have a little bit more UI to finish up, but we're getting very close to being done. So we will be talking about our launch plans and stuff like that. And, you know, coordinating with any mod authors out there to make sure that you are ready and are happy with where things are in terms of support. And we'll go from there. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.